Hello, everyone. My name is Ealasha Vaughner. I am a former peer and ambassador, and I am the manager of policy and advocacy at Clayton Early Learning. I also co-manage our Clayton Community Ambassador program. I am so excited to see all of your amazing faces next week and to get you all excited and ready for our fun-filled advocacy week. I'll be talking to you about effective advocacy with members of Congress. Hill Visit Edition. So grab a pen, some paper, or popcorn, or both. I prefer popcorn. And let's begin. So, each and every one of our advocacy journeys are so different and so diverse, which is so amazing and so powerful. Some of us are just starting, and some of us have been doing this for years. So I wanted to make sure that I focused on things that our beginner ambassadors can use to feel comfortable when doing this work. And I also wanted to make sure our ambassadors who have been doing this for years had a review that would get them pumped up for next week. I won't take up too much of your time, I promise. All right. So today we're going to focus on the members of Congress, the federal budget, having an ask, and the fun part, the congressional visits. Members of Congress, aka MOCs, they are people who have been appointed or elected and inducted into an official body called a Congress, typically to represent a particular population and legislature. These elected officials serve in Washington, D.C., and each state has 2 senators who serve in the United States Senate. We then have our congresswomen and congressmen serving in the U.S. House of Representatives. The number of congresswomen or congressmen is determined by the state's population, serving congressional districts within states. For example, Colorado currently has 8 representatives. One of the first things to do when thinking about talking to your elected officials is to find out who they are. This can be found at openstates.org. Now we're going to move on to the congressional calendars. The congressional calendars allows you to know when MOCs are in district and when they are expected to be in session. This will help you when you are scheduling visits in the future. You may either ask to meet with them in DC at their offices or in your state. You may invite them to come to an event near you or visit with them at their office in their state district. The congressional calendar is updated each day the Senate is in session, and the calendar focuses on several sections, identifying bills and resolutions awaiting Senate floor actions. Most measures are placed on the calendar under the heading General Orders, in the sequence in which they were added. The congressional calendar indicates what the House and Senate intends to discuss or bring to the floor on a particular day. Now we move on to the U.S. House of Representatives. The 118th United States Congress is the current meeting of the legislative branch of the United States federal government. It's composed of the United States Senate and the United States House of Representatives. It holds 435 seats, and the length of term is for 2 years. The current composition has 222 Republicans and 213 Democrats. The House of Representatives is referred to as the lower chamber. It's referred to as the lower house of the United States Congress because it has more members than the Senate. It also has powers not granted to the Senate, like the ability to elect a president if the Electoral College is tied. The Speaker of the House is Kevin McCarthy. The Majority Leader is Steve Scalise. Oh my goodness, you guys, I said his last name right. I'm super excited. And the Minority Leader is Hakeem Jeffries. The Majority Whip, and if you don't know what a whip is, I will definitely let you know here shortly, is Tom Emmer, and the Minority Whip is Caitlin Clark. A whip manages their party's legislative programs on the House floor. The whip keeps track of all the legislation and ensures that all party members are present when important measures are to be voted upon. So they're a big deal. In 2022 midterms elections, the Republican won control of the House for the first time since the 115th Congress, while the Democrats gained 1 seat in the Senate, giving them 51-49 majority. with a caucus of 48 Democrats and 3 independents, the majority really didn't take too much ground. The majority is really small, and you can't get cultured until you're at 60 to stop the conversation. Now, what is culture? Culture is a rule that allows a 2/3 majority to end a filibuster. What is a filibuster? I love these words, you guys. Well, a filibuster is a tactic used in the U.S. Senate to delay or block a vote on a measures by preventing debates on it from ending. The Senate rules place few restrictions on debates in general, unfortunately. And if there is no senator and if no other senator is speaking, a senator who seeks recognition is entitled to speak for as long as they wish. So now we move on to the federal budget. The U.S. Constitution gives Congress the ability to create a federal budget. In other words, to determine how much money the government can spend over the course of the upcoming fiscal year. It's the power of the purse, meaning the separations of power. The federal budget is used to set the government spending priorities such as Social Security, national defenses, and education, among many items, and to identify how it will play for those priorities with tax revenues. The federal budget consists of entitlements, interest, and non-defense discretionaries, NDDs. Entitlement is Medicare and Social Security. Interest focuses on what we are paying for, and non-defense discretionary spending is what we fight for. This is where early childhood education resides. NDD is controlled by lawmakers through appropriation acts, which specify how much money can be obligated for certain government programs in specific years. When we think about our state budget, it has to be balanced and zeroed out. However, when we discuss our federal budgets, there is enough funds. We just have to know how to allocate it in an equitable way. The reason why I say this is because with our federal budget, we borrow. So because we're borrowing so much, we do have enough funds. We just need to know how to equitably spread it out. Fun fact, did anyone know that Bill Clinton was the last president to balance the budget? When you see me, let me know. Let's keep it going. Building relationships with your elected officials and their teams is extremely important. If you really want your voice to make a change, you have to do that piece of building the relationship. There will be key staffers on your issues, so get to know them. Scheduling may take a while, but be persistent and kind. And be just as open to meeting with staffers as your MOCs. They have a lot of knowledge and they work hand in hand with our MOCs. Staffers serve as advisors to our MOCs on positions and budget requests. So they are so important in the work, and we need to make sure that we're building those relationships with them as well as the MOCs in our district. All right, preparing for a Hill visit. So when we are preparing for a Hill visit, although we have already done the work to schedule the Hill visits for next week, I did want to briefly go over it. So when preparing for a Hill visit, it's best that you start about 2 months ahead. Set the day you will visit the Hill and determine who you would like to meet. Take time out to find what DC scheduler and a state-specific scheduler you will need to contact or submit information to, and make sure you are clear in your requests and you are emailing the right person. It's best to use portals and schedulers to keep track of what you're sending and to be prepared to follow up if you do not get a response. Usually you have to follow up about 2 to 3 times. They're busy, we're all busy, so sometimes just keep following up is the best route to go to get a visit set up. Developing an ask. Know what MOCs can influence and what they cannot. Talk to subject matter experts before you go. See what your allies and national groups are asking for, and have a solid ask for your visit. And most importantly, share your story. General information is okay, but having something actionable everyone can follow up on is important. And when you get to DC, your group will have a top line ask, and that more information will be given to you once you arrive next week. So developing your ask continued. Work with others. Make sure there is support for what you are asking for from allies and national groups, and be aware of the MOC's position on the issue before you make an ask and develop talking points. When it comes to congressional asks, they are generally budget asks, or relief with federal regulations, or the ask is trying to get a rule change. All federal regulations are published on the Federal Register before they are officially adopted. And this is the time people can write in and weigh in on federal rulemaking. During the Hill visit, tell them your why. You are the expert in your lived experiences. You might get questions from lawmakers about legislation and priorities that you are talking about. The most important thing to remember is to take a deep breath, answer truthfully and concise, and quickly answer the question and move back to your talking points to stay on topic. It's okay not to know the answer. Be honest and say, great question, I'm not sure, but I will find out for you. And don't forget to make an ask. And I forgot on the last slide, don't forget to have fun with it. They are regular people and they just want to hear your stories. Last but not least, follow up after the visit. Send a quick thank you email with any data you mentioned within the 24 hours of the visit. Follow up ever so often when related information to the topic you shared. They receive hundreds of emails a week and are busy supporting members in meetings and committees. So please be patient and try to be authentic with your thank yous and your follow-ups. Maybe send out different thank you cards with images of your program or handwritten thank you letters. Thank you so much for your time. I am so excited to see you all next week, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me when we get into DC, and I will also add my email to the description. Thank you guys. See you soon.